the constant hum of traffic, neighbors' voices through thin walls, construction, sirens, and the endless ping of notifications. Urban life is defined by noise, not just audible sound, but visual and mental noise that bombards us constantly. Yet even in the heart of the busiest cities, Zen practitioners have found ways to cultivate profound silence. Not by escaping the noise, but by transforming their relationship with it. Today, I'll share 8 practical Zen techniques specifically designed for urban dwellers. These methods don't require moving to a mountain retreat or even leaving your neighborhood. They're about finding silence right where you are, in your apartment, during your commute, and even in crowded public spaces. Technique 1. Creating a silent sanctuary in small spaces. Even the tiniest apartment can contain a dedicated space for silence. Zen teaches us that physical space influences mental space, and vice versa. Designate one corner of your home as a silent zone. This doesn't require an entire room. Even a 3x3 foot area can work. Remove all electronics and keep only essential items. A cushion, perhaps a small plant, a simple light source, and optionally, a meaningful object that evokes calm. The key is emptiness. This space should have significantly fewer items than the rest of your home. While perfect silence is impossible in most urban settings, you can reduce noise with acoustic panels, white noise machines, window insulation, and soft materials like rugs and tapestries. For visual simplicity, choose muted colors, eliminate clutter, face a blank wall during meditation, and use soft lighting. Work with urban noise patterns by identifying naturally quieter times in your building, creating a silent schedule, and communicating your needs to roommates or family. Technique 2. The Zen of urban walking. Walking meditation, kinhin, becomes a practical way to find silence in motion. Transform your daily commute by focusing on one sense during your walk, moving slightly slower than normal, synchronizing breath with steps, and gently returning to physical sensations when your mind wanders. Seek out urban nature paths by exploring lesser-known parks, visiting early mornings when they're quietest, and finding waterfront paths where water sounds mask city noise. Practice seeing your environment with fresh eyes by noticing architectural patterns, observing how light plays on buildings, finding unexpected nature in urban settings, and practicing one thing at a time, walking. Consider joining or starting a silent walking group to create a bubble of shared silence even in busy areas. Technique 3. Technological silence in a digital world. Apply Zen principles to your digital life by removing non-essential apps, disabling notifications, scheduling specific times for email and social media, and implementing a digital sunset 1-2 hours before bedtime. Use technology strategically with noise-canceling headphones, binaural beats for meditation, nature sound apps, and meditation timer applications. Designate one day per month as a tech Sabbath, disconnect completely, and notice how mental noise decreases as digital noise is eliminated. When using media, watch videos at 75% speed to create space between words, choose content thoughtfully rather than endless scrolling, practice one screen at a time, and consider how each digital interaction affects your internal silence. Technique 4. Finding quiet public spaces. Explore often overlooked quiet spaces, university libraries, museum corners away from popular exhibits, hotel lobbies, places of worship, botanical gardens, upper floors of public libraries, and cemetery grounds. Use timing to transform busy places into havens of quiet by visiting during off hours, arriving at parks just after opening, exploring business districts on weekends, and finding cafes during their quietest hours. Create temporary silence bubbles by practicing coffee shop meditation, using steady environmental sounds as anchors, positioning yourself in acoustic dead spots, and facing walls or windows rather than areas of movement. Consider creating a personal map of quiet spots in your neighborhood, noting optimal times to visit each location. Technique 5. Dealing with noisy neighbors and environments. When noise is unavoidable, transform your relationship with it. Rather than resisting noise, give it your full attention. Notice its qualities without labeling it as annoying, and observe your physical and emotional reactions. This often transforms irritating noise into just another neutral sensation. For recurring neighbor noise, approach conversations with genuine curiosity rather than complaint, suggest mutually beneficial solutions, and express needs as specific requests rather than general irritation. Understand the difference between sound masking, adding pleasant sounds, and noise cancellation, neutralizing sound waves, experimenting to find what works best for your situation. Practice the Zen principle of non-resistance with unavoidable sounds, using mantras like "this too" or "just this" when irritation arises. Remember that resistance to noise often causes more suffering than the noise itself. Technique 6. Silent community practices. Find opportunities for group silence through Zen centers, secular meditation groups, and yoga studios offering meditation classes. Start your own urban silence community by inviting friends for regular periods of shared silence, beginning with just 10-15 minutes followed by conversation, and gradually extending silent periods as comfort grows. Host silent meals where participants eat mindfully without conversation, using bells to mark beginning and end, and following with discussion about the experience. Consider combining silence with service by volunteering for quiet activities like serving food or gardening, being fully present without unnecessary chatter, and joining community cleanup events where participants work mostly in silence. Technique 7. Transforming noise into practice. When disruptive noise occurs, make it the focus of meditation. Follow each sound from beginning to end with complete attention. Notice spaces between sounds and observe how your mind creates stories about the noise. Use your breath as a constant amid changing soundscapes by establishing awareness of breathing before noise begins, acknowledging sounds briefly before returning to the breath, and noticing how breathing continues regardless of external conditions. Practice directly with the relationship between sound and silence by recognizing that every sound emerges from and returns to silence, paying attention to the quality of silence between sounds, and understanding that silence isn't the absence of sound, but the space in which sound occurs. Approach persistent noise as a Zen koan riddle by investigating questions like, what is making this sound? Beyond the obvious cause, who is hearing this sound? Beyond the simple answer of me, and where is the boundary between sound and hearer? Technique 8. Creating daily silence rituals. Integrate micro-silence moments throughout your day by setting random reminders to pause for 3 conscious breaths, fully experiencing the momentary silence between thoughts. Use physical transitions to trigger awareness by pausing briefly when passing through doorways, using elevator rides for meditation, and practicing silence while waiting for public transportation. Create silence at the beginning and end of each day, with 5 minutes before checking devices in the morning and 5 minutes before sleep at night, creating a frame of tranquility around even the busiest days. Transform an ordinary break into a silence ritual by preparing tea or coffee with full attention, sitting in silence while drinking, and focusing completely on the sensory experience, even in office break rooms or busy cafes. The urban environment presents unique challenges for silence seekers, but with these Zen techniques, you can discover that true silence doesn't depend on external conditions. It emerges from how we relate to our environment, not from the environment itself. I encourage you to experiment with these practices this week. Start with just one technique that resonates with you. Notice how it affects your experience of urban life. Remember that in Zen, there are no failed attempts. Every practice, even when challenging, is valuable. If you found these techniques helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more practical Zen wisdom for modern living. Share your own urban silence discoveries in the comments below. Your insights might help fellow city dwellers find their own path to tranquility.